This is WTRF-CBS, the home of 7 News, sponsored by Bordas & Bordas. 7 News This Morning begins now.
Happening now on 7 News This Morning, the results are now in for the West Virginia primary election. The very latest coming up right now. Congressman Alex Mooney has served on Capitol Hill since 2015. Now he's halfway home to remaining there after yesterday's primary election. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for 7 News This Morning. I'm Stephen Ruffing. Mooney defeated fellow Republican Congressman David McKinley in yesterday's District 2 primary. 7 News correspondent Dave Level was among those at Mooney's victory celebration.
Thank you. Thank you, West Virginia.
Congressman Alex Mooney expressed his gratitude to a packed room of family and supporters at the Clarion Hotel in Harpers Ferry.
This is 7 News This Morning with Stephanie Grindley, Stephen Ruffing, Storm Tracker 7 weather with meteorologist Aaron Myler.
Good morning, everyone. So glad you could all join us for 7 News This Morning. It's just about 5:30. It's Wednesday, halfway through the work week, but already off to a killer start weather-wise.
You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah, Where's that energy when this weekend comes? Not looking good this weekend.
What's that Jonah Hill where he's like, don't talk to me. Not me, don't talk to me. I only take credit when it's good outside.
Right,
so.
we know that, we know
But I
that.
mean, it's been good all day long. It's still, or all week long, I should say. It's still pretty good all outside right now. I mean, it's just been a gorgeous week.
Yeah, it really
no
has.
Complaints.
A lot of blue skies, a lot of sunshine. You said it earlier, it does kind of like, especially yesterday, kind of feels like summer-like temperatures rather than spring. We only have 2 seasons in the Ohio Valley these days. It's winter and it's summer because it goes right from winter straight into summer.
I think it's because spring and fall, they're the seasons where it's back and forth, and everyone's always like, why is it going from hot to cold? That's spring.
Yep.
That's how it goes when we're switching from one to the next. So, I mean, it is what it is. But it's still pretty nice out right now. If we take a live look outside this morning, you can see just that over the highlands there. Pretty nice. Not really any clouds in the sky, which is a nice change of pace from where we are most of the time, like we were just saying. But, I mean, it's still pretty nice overall just for your day here. And it's going to remain nice for the day overall. 54 degrees here in Wheeling, so a nice temperature-wise start. And the same general story all across the region is starting with nice temps outside.
This is WTRF-CBS, the home of 7 News, sponsored by Bordas & Bordas. 7 News This Morning begins now.
Coming up on 7 News This Morning, the Hancock County Board of Education released a report following a grievance case. Stick around with us to find out more. Before we get there, let's take a moment to admire the new scenery here at 7 News. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the all-new 7 News This Morning. I'm Stephen Ruffing. For weeks, we've been talking about how 7 News has been looking a little different, and we've changed once more, but this time it's for good. We're thrilled to welcome you inside the brand new 7 News studio. We want to thank everyone for their patience for the past few months as these changes were happening. With this new look, we're more committed than ever to do our best to bring you the news you expect from here at WTRF. With that being said, let's get into our top story. No charges will be filed regarding the deadly Wheeling Island shooting, according to the Ohio County Grand Jury.
This is WTRF ABC Ohio Valley, the home of 7 News, sponsored by Bordas & Bordas. 7 News This Morning begins now.
Happening now on 7 News This Morning, the results are in for the West Virginia primary election. We have the very latest and the results right now. Congressman Alex Mooney served on Capitol Hill since 2015. Now he's halfway home to remaining there after yesterday's primary election. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for 7 News This Morning. I'm Stephen Ruffing. Mooney defeated fellow Republican Congressman David McKinley in yesterday's District 2 primary. 7 News correspondent Dave Level was among those at Mooney's victory celebration.
You're watching 7 News, working for you.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time to take a look out for your health this morning. It's 6:24. Pregnant mothers beware. Exposure to dangerous chemicals are rising, and a digital support tool is helping heart attack survivors get back on track. Elise Preston has today's Health Watch 7 report. Good morning, Ohio Valley. I'm Stephen Ruffing. We have today's local news coming right up, but first, Aaron Myler joins us to give us a quick look at our weather. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, Stephen. Temperatures so far pretty nice outside, 51 degrees right now, so not too shabby. And as we go through the rest of your day, that's going to stay, and the sunshine will be there too. We'll have more on that in a minute, but first, Stephen.
All right, thanks, Aaron. No charges will be filed regarding the deadly Wheeling Island shooting. Tyrone Ramont Thompson was shot and killed on March 19th in front of Smoker Friendly on South Huron Street. Officials met with Thompson's family prior to the grand jury proceedings. A former high school coach was sentenced to prison yesterday for having a sexual relationship with a student athlete. Joby Barr pled guilty to sexual battery. Judge John Favre gave Burr the maximum under the plea agreement, which was 30 months. The Hancock County Board of Education released a report involving the board's duties and operations months after an ongoing grievance case. The report mainly addresses legal responsibility and board meeting requirements. The board says they have no comment about the job or the grievance case. Nearly 2,000 pieces of equipment donated by Ohio law enforcement agencies will soon be delivered to Ukraine. Departments donated surplus or expired body armor, bulletproof vests, and helmets. The equipment will go to the members of the Ukraine Civilian Territorial Defense. Gas prices continued to rise across the tri-state area over the weekend. West Virginians are paying an average price of $4.14 a gallon. Ohio's average price stayed at $4.09. The national average is up to $4.33, more than 20 cents over a month ago. Let's take a live look outside right now. This is over the area. Blue skies and sunshine all day for your Tuesday. Aaron Myler will have a little bit more about that coming up in just a minute.
For your day here today, it's going to be another good one. Sunshine all day long, warmer temperatures today, and even with that, it's going to be a great week overall as we get out there. So, I mean, today is another day to enjoy the weather outside because temperatures warming up once again. Starting off in the 50s, warming up into the mid to upper 70s, I should say, for your day here today. 77 degree for your high temperatures. I feel like once we're anywhere in the 70s, that's the sweet spot for most people around the area. And we're going to be right in there today, so it's going to be a really nice day overall. So go through the rest of your week. We're going to see it continuing to be nice for tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. So 4 really nice days are here right now, with temperatures warming up even more to about 8 as we get into the end of the work week. Now, they'll stay warm as we get into the weekend, but with that, we're going to start to see some showers popping back into your forecast. So not going to remain quite as sunny and dry all week long, but hey, not too shabby either.
This is WTRF-CBS, the home of 7 News. Sponsored by Bordis & Bordis. 7 News at noon begins now.
Right now at noon, the polls are open for the West Virginia primary election. All you need to know before you vote in just a few moments. But first, let's jump right into our weather this afternoon. The beautiful weather continues. Thank you for joining us for 7 News at noon. I'm Stephen Ruffing. Blue skies and sunshine remains. Here's how it looks outside right now. Not a cloud in the sky over the Moundsville area. Aaron Myler joins us to give us a look at the rest of our day all across the Ohio Valley. Aaron, another beautiful day.
Yeah, it's absolutely perfect outside. Not too much more we could ask for. Temperatures are really nice, right around 70 degrees at this point in time. Winds are calm. I mean, it's a pretty great day overall as we step outside. Now, even with this, we do have a few little cirrus clouds trying to make their way into the area. You can see this is not going to be anything to really damper the sunshine down. It's more so just those light wispy clouds that you see kind of high up.
This is WTRF-ABC Ohio Valley, the home of 7 News. Sponsored by Bordis & Bordis. 7 News at noon begins now.
Coming up on 7 News at noon, results are in from the West Virginia primary election. All you need to know coming up in just a few minutes. But first, with cloudless skies and summer-like temperatures, this may be the most gorgeous week we've seen all year. Thank you for joining us for 7 News at noon. I'm Stephen Ruffing. Let's get a look outside. This is over the Moundsville area, a beautiful shot, lots of greenery, blue skies, and not a cloud in the sky. Aaron Myler joins us right now to give us that first look at our weather. Another beautiful day, Aaron, and hopefully this continues, right?
We have it for a little bit while longer, so let's focus on the good stuff first. It's really nice outside. We're going to stick with that for the next couple of days here, so it's just really going to continue for a little while longer. Outside right now, it's 73 degrees here in Wheeling. Pretty nice overall. Light wind, which makes it just feel a little bit nicer at times. So it is going to be just another warm day. Pretty good overall as you step out the door.
This is 7 News at noon with Stephanie Grindley and meteorologist Aaron Myler.
Welcome back, everyone. U.S. intelligence officials testified to lawmakers today that Russian President Vladimir Putin is preparing for a prolonged battle in Ukraine. Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill with the latest from the war and American efforts to continue to supply Ukrainian forces with the weapons they need.
You're watching 7 News, working for you.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's look out for your health this afternoon. Pregnant mothers beware. Exposure to dangerous chemicals is rising, and a digital support tool is helping heart attack survivors get back on track. Elise Preston has today's Health Watch 7 report.
This is WTRF-CBS, the home of 7 News, sponsored by Bordas & Bordas. 7 News at 6 begins now.
Happening right now at 6, 7 News is your local election headquarters, and we're getting you ready for West Virginia's primary. Everything you need to know right now.
But first, 7 News is your local election headquarters. A hotly contested race is on tomorrow with 5 candidates running in the Republican primary in West Virginia's 2nd congressional district. But there are 2 candidates who have received the most media attention and some impressive endorsements. Thank you for joining us for 7 News at 6. I'm Steve Moore.
And I'm Catherine Guyon. A result of redistricting has Congressman Alex Mooney of the 2nd District and fellow Republican incumbent David McKinley of the 1st District going head-to-head running in the same district. 7 News reporter Rebecca Little joins us live now in the studio with more on the race of the 2 Republicans. Rebecca.
Catherine, this is the race that everybody has been talking about across the nation. Alex Mooney and David McKinley are 2 faces people know. Now, the 2 are especially being recognized as a result of the fact that redistricting changed the congressional district lines, putting the 2 politicians in the same district. A recent West Virginia poll has Mooney with a 15-point lead over fellow Republican incumbent McKinley among likely voters in the Mountain State. Mooney, who has been endorsed by former President Donald Trump, was elected to District 2 in 2014, while McKinley was elected to represent District 1 back in 2010. McKinley has received some noteworthy endorsements by West Virginia Governor Jim Justice, U.S. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, and former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
This is WTRF-ABC Ohio Valley, the home of 7 News, sponsored by Bordas & Bordas. 7 News at 6 begins now.
Right now at 6, summer-like weather has been covering the Ohio Valley all afternoon, but does that mean we're officially done with the cold weather? All the answers to that coming up in just a few minutes. But first, 7 News is your local election headquarters, and the West Virginia primary is all finished, but it's raising a lot of interest about one man. Thank you for joining us for 7 News at 6. I'm Steve Moore.
And I'm Catherine Guyon. Former President Donald Trump did have an impact in the primary, but will he be a factor in November? West Virginia Republican Congressman Alex Mooney defeated fellow GOP Congressman David McKinley in the primary by 18 percentage points. Former President Trump endorsed Mooney in a state where Trump's popularity remains high. A week before, Trump endorsed Ohio U.S. Senate candidate J.D. Vance, who won.
This is 7 News at 6 with Catherine Guyon, Steve Moore, Storm Tracker 7 weather with Chief Meteorologist Zach Petty, The Sports Zone with Scott Nolte.
Welcome back to 7 News. Looking around the world tonight, Russian President Vladimir Putin used Russia's annual celebration marking the end of World War II to justify his war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, President Biden and the G7 leaders met virtually with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to try and cut off Russia's cash flow from its oil exports. President Biden signed the newly passed Ukraine aid package into law, allowing the U.S. to lend or lease Ukraine military equipment to use in its defense.
This is 7 News, working for you.
Plentiful sunshine across the Ohio Valley for our brand new work week. Notice the increase in temperatures as we step through Wednesday and Thursday, approaching 80 degrees, although rain activity likely back for the weekend.
This is WTRF, the home of 7 News, sponsored by Bordus & Bordus. 7 News Weekend Edition starts now.
Happening now at 6, Senator Sherrod Brown speaks out about mental health support. Hear what he had to say just moments from now. But first, one man has died after a crash late last night on US 22 in Harrison County. Thank you for joining us for 7 News at 6. I'm Colin Roos. The Ohio State Highway Patrol says that 50-year-old Kenneth McCleary failed to yield at a stop sign in Moorfield Township. He struck a semi with a hazmat tanker trailer and succumbed to his injuries at the scene. The driver of the semi was medically cleared. The crash is now under investigation.
This is WTRF-CBS, the home of 7 News, sponsored by Bordus & Bordus. 7 News at 11 begins now.
Tonight at 11, 7 News is your local election headquarters, and the West Virginia primary is tomorrow. We'll tell you what you need to know before casting your ballot in just a few moments.
But first, we have some new details tonight. No charges will be filed regarding the deadly Wheeling Island shooting that, according to the Ohio County Grand Jury. Thank you for joining us for 7 News at 11. I'm Steve Moore.
And I'm Rebecca Little. Tyrone Vermont Thompson was shot and killed on March 19th in front of Smoker Friendlies on South Huron Street just before 7:30.
Seven News is your local election headquarters, and it's finally primary day in West Virginia. We're tracking all the biggest races, and we'll bring you the results coming up next on 7 News.
This is WTRF-ABC Ohio Valley, the home of 7 News, sponsored by Bordus & Bordus. 7 News at 11 begins now.
Right now at 11, results are now in for the West Virginia primary election. We have the very latest updates coming up right now. Tonight's primary election certainly tested former President Donald Trump's grip on the GOP. Trump's endorsement record continues to be undefeated after 2 big wins in the Mountain State, and after tonight's win in the West Virginia 2nd Congressional District, the Trump train continues to roll on through with Representative Alex Mooney hopping aboard. Thank you for joining us for 7 News at 11. I'm Steve Moore.
And I'm Catherine Guyon. Trump-endorsed Republican incumbent Alex Mooney was declared the winner over fellow Republican incumbent David McKinley. 7 News reporter Rebecca Little joins us now live in the studio with more on the hotly contested race that put the 2 politicians in the same congressional district after redistricting. Rebecca.
Catherine, the former president had sort of a perfect record heading into the West Virginia primary with his endorsements, and tonight he won, and so did the man he endorsed, Alex Mooney. McKinley also received some noteworthy endorsements from Governor Jim Justice and even Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who reached across the aisle to endorse him, calling McKinley a, quote, true West Virginian. But Trump's endorsement of Mooney, some would say, seems to have sealed the deal. It is interesting to note that out of Trump's 140 endorsements, Trump started 21-0 in Texas on March 1st, with one race heading to a runoff with George P. Bush and Ken Paxton. Paxton was endorsed by Trump.
This is 7 News at 11 with Steve Moore, Rebecca Little, Storm Tracker 7 weather with Chief Meteorologist Zach Petty, The Sports Zone with Scott Nolte.
Welcome back to 7 News at 11. The drought situation in the West is becoming dire. Residents are being asked to conserve water, and new strict rules are going into effect in several communities.
It's the same story all across the Southwest, where 40 million people in a $5 billion agricultural industry rely on the Colorado River for their water supply. But that river's flow is restricted, impacting everything from drinking water to electricity. Donnie Backus has more from Los Angeles.
This is 7 News, working for you.
Well, that is all the time we have for 7 News at 11.
Remember, you can check those West Virginia primary election results anytime over at WTRF.com.
Have a fantastic night, everyone.